Welcome back.
And we have with us Olivia Avilez,
Yes.
who is from the cane farmers, from the Belize Sugar Industry Limited. She's the cane farmer relations manager. And we have William Neal, who is no stranger to the set, but in this segment, has on the cap of communications and government affairs officer at ASR BSI. Welcome, guys.
Thank
Good
you.
morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning. Well, Sugarfest.
Yes.
We have the sugar industry. We just finished the crop season, 203 days of lots of work, and we want to celebrate that after the crop. We delivered, the farmers and everybody else delivered 1.274 million tons of cane. So you know that's a lot of hard work, and that was milled with a factory efficiency of 94.8, which was very good, and that means that we extract the maximum 94.8% of that sugar from that cane. Yeah. So that's a lot of hard work. We have over 9,000 people in the north doing all that work, both factory and field, and this represents really 15% of the Belizean population.
Yeah.
So we are taking the time out to celebrate that in Sugarfest.
So you started doing an end of season party of sorts for cane farmers and their family.
I guess it would be comparative to like the crop overs in other Caribbean nations. And I think it's really to get people to come together and unite as an industry to really say that, you know, we've gone through another season. Despite our challenges, despite our differences, it's time to celebrate that, you know, we've been successful with another season.
And it's a community, really, it has become a community event.
Yeah.
Now we get calls from all the businesses, and one of the purpose is to have the charity groups there. So we provide a space for the charity groups in Orange Walk, in Corozal, and the nation at large, really, to come and do the activities and also the pastries, the food, the drinks, and everything else. But it's really a community event where everybody gets involved. In the north, sugar is the lifeblood.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you know, even the taco stands, the banks,
If you're north, you have to have tacos.
Exactly. And so therefore, everybody gets involved. And we're getting really good participation, really good comments. This year with the depressed cane prices and sugar prices, we were wondering whether we should really do the event. We had to cut corners, but we got some sponsorship from the MIF project that CERDI is carrying out under the IDB.
Yeah.
And so we were able to buffer some of those costs, but we've gotten also interest from other businesses who want to join into the sponsorship. So we will look forward to that next year so that we can still do probably the event and make it a community event.
And I think one of the things that is key to note too is that this is a really family event. There's no alcohol. All right, so it's really, we have from the mechanical bull, and Olivia and I last year.
Cane sugar is also part of what makes rum. You have you have an event without rum and it has a lot of people.
Yes.
Please tell us more.
Well, in the north, rum is part of our lifestyle. But this is a day event, and we want to make it an environment where the families come around. We do have like the rum on the other side of the compound, and people are free to do that on the BSI staff club area, but it's a little
limited.
Limited and away from where the actual activities are happening, because really we are doing activities. We have this year the giant Jenga. We have a lot of games, the regular marble games and things like that. We have Ozzy the Clown is coming this year, and a lot of kids really remember it. My son, for example, I was telling him, oh, you have a trip for the library on Saturday, and then you have Sugarfest. Where are you going? He said, I'm going to Sugarfest, Mom. I said, do you remember Ozzy? I can't wait to see the magics he's going to bring this year.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of impression that it leaves on kids, and we want it to be fun. We want
it to be a family event. Yeah.
And it does a lot in terms of cultural, exposure, because it's not only every year as a part of the attraction, we either have, like last year we had marimba. This year we're going to have Garifuna drummers. So it's a nice blending of things that perhaps would not be easily found in the north. But people come out to experience it.
But the North love punta.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And actually, I think the year before we had also done the Pok dancers, so there's always that component to highlight some part of Belize's culture. And, it really captures the consciousness of everyone who attends, because it's almost as if, listen, I've never gone to a fair where you have probably about 500 to 1,000 people sitting down watching the field to see what's happening. It's that kind of activity, and it's well
And this
attended.
year, William is going to be the host of a mini karaoke.
It's going to be karaoke.
Yes, and adult and kids. Yeah.
That's Olivia's brain.
But we had to have the KTV star on there, right?
This is Sugar Fest, and so it's a celebration of the production of sugar and what it contributes to our economy and to our society. I have to be provocative, William, and ask.
Of course, Kevin, I'd expect no less.
It's an industry celebration. Is Santander part of it? I mean, it's a celebration of, if it was a telecommunications fest, we expect to see all parties present.
Well, let me say this in this way, answer it in this way. We do work with Santander outside of the country in terms of what we're trying to do with CARICOM and penetrate the markets there. This is a celebration for the northern industry, which operates completely different because we have the 5,000 plus farmers. So when we're looking at it, it's from that perspective to involve everyone. When Olivia spoke about 9,000 people, those are the people who are directly involved in the industry. But the impact of sugar is mega in terms of the north. So this is really our party up north. Of course, Santander can come on up.
You want people to come from all over, I'm sure.
Right.
And so, and that's what I wanted to touch on in the reason the Sugar Fest first started. Was it simply to, because as you pointed out, it's a time when you also put aside the contention, because the sugar industry is one where we usually prepare for a battle each year taking place. But you have to work with the farmers, and the farmers have to work with BSI. How successful has it been in improving the relationship with the cane farmers and their different associations?
Look, at the end of the day, the farmers, and sometimes in the media it's portrayed a little bit different, but we're in constant communication with each other. That's number one. We're constantly talking to the association leaders, farmers, and stakeholders. So we have our differences, we have our discussions, but at the end of the day, we go to Sugar Fest and have fun together and meet their kids. They come over. Our VP usually, McLachlan, usually attends. They go have a beer at staff club. At the end of the day, we collaborate, we live together, we're a community. And I think that is what is important at Sugar Fest.
And I think
creating those synergies.
And it creates a space where you can have a non-threatening kind of environment to actually talk about difficult issues, without the bottom line being considered at that particular point.
Since the season is over too.
Right.
I have one more question. So Sugar Fest is the name of the event, but isn't the sugar season in the north called the Zafra? Or the Zafra is the opening?
Right. Zafra is usually a term for crop season. And crop can be any crop. It can be corn, it can be whatever. So Zafra is just like a Spanish word for crop. Now the sugarcane crop is specific to sugarcane.
Okay.
And we have the participation of all three associations. We especially invite people like their women's group that they're working through their fair trade activities. And this year they're going to put their stalls as well, their food stalls. One particular association submitting an idea of a brown sugar recipe. So we posted that. We have entries, and we're going to actually judge on that, just the recipe itself. And so they are also part of our Sugar Fest committee, because
Okay.
this is not just BSI. We
Yeah.
have the participation, we invite them, and they get involved.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Gail.
You know, there's Mango Fest down south, and there's all things mango. There's Cacao Fest down south. It's all things cacao, and the fruit is the product is the star
Yeah.
of the fest. But when we think about sugar, I mean, it's something which is not necessarily something featured in that level. How would you
How do
let
you
sugar
keep
be the star
essence of the sweet?
rather than karaoke being the star,
The
rather
sugar
than being
cane.
us being the star? And you've already taken out alcohol, which is
Right.
a major player in terms of we look at sugar. How else will there be pastry?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the sugar cane is the star, and this year we're going to launch our mascot, the sugar cane mascot itself, and his name is Juan Sucro Calidad. And Juan Sucro Calidad. And sucro is actually sucrose, and Juan is just a general name.
Yeah.
And Calidad, we're focusing a lot on cane quality, and farmers, we had this program this year called the pre-harvest monitoring, where farmers look at their fields, we analyze, we take a sample, we analyze it in the lab, and we give them back the results. And then they can make a decision of which fields to cut, which have the highest sucrose.
Yeah.
So
Olivia,
that
Olivia,
is-
does not translate to sweet quality John?
yes,
John Sweet
quality.
If it's a literal translation.
but it sounds far better in Spanish. Right?
It
So
sounds sweeter in Spanish.
we're not going to put a picture of what Juan Sucro is, but
Oh,
he
because
has,
there's a big reveal.
yes, he has arrived, and we're going to
It's a very
reveal
skinny
that.
mascot. Sugar canes are tall. And
He's handsome looking.
okay, I hope so. So tell us what else people can expect at Sugarfest. First of all, it's free.
Yeah.
And the time and what we can expect.
It starts very early, and I'll say that usually the kickoff time is 9 o'clock. But because I've never seen this before, working up north, people show up from about 6 or 7, and the starting time is 9.
Well,
Because we have some
north is
early giveaways for the first 100 people,
Oh.
and they're there from early. I think last year there was a new record because that guy was there 5 something in the morning. I kid you not.
So they go there for the early bird prizes.
Right.
Yeah.
We give the first 100 people that come in, we give them a ticket for food. We have also a limited amount of free fresco for the kids, and we have special prizes for the first person that arrives. And we also will have the Garifuna drummers, as he said, the Central Drum Corps marching band, and that's what we usually do at the onset. Kids Corner, Us the Clown, the Caribbean Roots Band will be playing, Mechanical Bull, Dunkin' Boot, Giant Ring Toss, and Giant Jenga, the photo booths, and the fish ponds, and a whole lot more.
And it's very interactive. When kids come, like last year, for example, one of the big things that we did as well was when we talk about health, Zumba is still huge up north. So there's a whole hour or so where we have Zumba being featured. We also have a paint party, which usually ends, and everybody ends up covered in paint, all right? So it's just a lot of fun. It's very interactive. It's a great day to just come out and bask in the sun and get along with everybody. And as Olivia said, all the associations participate. You know, it's just a great day to be out and
it's
have fun.
open to people outside of the cane industry.
Yes,
Of course.
So it's open. It's definitely open.
So just show up for the day and participate in the different events that are taking place. I'm sure there's food and lots of pastries. You can go for sweet treats alone.
Of course. And we do give out the sugar cane cut so that you can chew on,
Yum. Yeah.
which with a little bit salt and pepper. And it's a great energy boost for the day.
And you know, that's still something that is still fascinating to a lot of people. We did it in the agriculture show. And we have to warn people though that you don't swallow the trash from
Oh, really?
cane.
It's not fiber?
Wait, no, people swallow it?
Yes.
Kids, they've not been exposed to it, you know.
Oh, see, I grew up eating sugar cane.
So you
Yes,
know
but
that, right?
kids, no,
Yeah.
kids.
So
some of
last
the
year
kids.
we had some, you know, that's one of the things that we have to say, don't swallow the
Well,
trash.
that's something to take the kids to keep them exposed to things that we do culturally. Did you eat sugar cane growing up?
No.
Yes. Yes. Yes, William.
I would never imagine that because they still have it at the market too. You could get it pre-cut, so that's also going to be featured.
Yes, definitely, and we have different varieties of sugar cane that they can look at because at the end of the day, sugar is made in the plant and in the field. So the factory merely extracts that and then processes and makes different types of crystals and coloration. But sugar is actually produced in the field.
And one final thing, why the focus on Juan Sucro Calidad? Because what we do, we also use it as an opportunity to educate people about the different aspects of sugar production. So it's not a day where it's all just fun. You can choose. There's edutainment, if you want to call it that. All right, so you get an opportunity to be, you know, you can eat, you can fraternize, you know, but you can also have that education for people. If you've not been exposed to the sugar industry, it's a soft entry into what it takes to produce sugar.
We have a few businesses that do participate, and it's mainly geared towards like farmers, things like agro inputs, and we're going to have Caribbean tires as well, Belagro, Prosser, James Brody's, and BTL and Smart, and the banks, because sometimes they use the opportunity to give little prizes as well to farmers, the banks especially.
All right. So there you have it, a day activity in Orange Walk, Sugar Fest starting at 9 a.m. at the BSI field.
Yeah.
And it promises to be fun for just about everyone.
Yeah. And it runs until about 6 in the evening, but sharp 6.
No after party?
Well, that's up to you.
You can go to staff club. Staff club is the after party, but you're gonna be painted all over.
Yeah. All right. That sounds like the beginning of a great party. All right. Thank you so much for coming in and telling us all about it. And people can put it down as their weekend activity with the family. We're going to go ahead and take our final break now. And when we come back, we'll have our wrap up. So stay tuned.